when I was a kid, I used to listen to recordings of old time radio theater. And there was this one show called Lights Out that encouraged you to shut off all the lights when you listen to scary stories. So that's what I thought I'd do tonight. My wife's family vacations down in the Outer Banks in North Carolina every year. And I don't know if you know this, but the waters off the Outer Banks are called the graveyard of the Atlantic. And they call it that for many reasons: horrible weather, shifting shoals and currents. But the main reason is pirates. Pirates would prowl the area, taking advantage of ships in trouble, ships slowing down to make the big turn going south or north. And land pirates would create huge bonfires that the ships would mistake for lighthouses and end up turning at the wrong time and running aground. Thousands and thousands of people lost their lives in the stormy waters off of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, which makes it perfect for a ghost story. So when we go down to the Outer Banks, we often head out to the beach and build a bonfire at night and make s'mores and kill sand fleas by the millions. And on a moonless night, many years ago, an unusual cold front had passed through, and fog rose off the warm water and drifted across the beach like smoke. It was the perfect night for a ghost story. We built the fire on the beach, and I began to tell my story of the souls who died in their bunks at sea, souls who never reached their final destination and now walk the beaches of Hatteras Island, no longer alive, but not passed on to the great beyond. I was going to scare the shit out of him. And then my brother-in-law showed up. Now, you don't know my brother-in-law, but he has one easily identifying feature, and that is he cannot shut up ever. Yak, 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 fucking yak. I was pissed. He ruined my perfect ghost story night. And if you're a storyteller, there's nothing worse. Storytelling blue balls. I was furious. So I stormed off and I walked up the beach, and I walked and walked and walked, and I saw another fire way up the beach, and I thought, you know what, I'll just walk up to that fire and cool down and then go back. So I walked and walked, and that fire didn't seem to be getting any closer. And it was dark on that beach. I mean, there was fog and no moon. You couldn't see more than 10 yards in any direction. So I kept walking. Soon I was aware I was coming up behind a couple walking ahead of me on the beach. And as I passed them, I noticed how they were dressed. He was wearing a top hat and tails, and she was in a full-length gown with opera gloves and a hat with a big feather in it. And now some people might think that's unusual, but I'm from Philadelphia, and we've got Ben Franklin's and Betsy Ross's all over the place down here. So I just kept walking and walking, and I didn't think much of it until I passed another couple walking arm in arm, full formal dress, top hat and tails, hat and gloves. And now I'm a little weirded. I keep walking up the beach through the fog toward the fire, and now I'm walking past two women walking arm in arm, full-length Victorian gowns. And normally I'd say something, but I'm fully aware of what, this looks like coming out of the dark, going, "Good evening, ladies. How you doing?" And it's at that moment I hear the music. It's strange music. It sounds kind of like a carousel organ, but the notes kind of bend and change and float on the wind. And now I'm thinking I really need to be close to that fire. So I double time it toward the bonfire, and as I get closer, I can see three figures standing around the fire. and they're all wearing Victorian garb, just like the people would be in my ghost story. One of them looks like he's dressed like a priest, another sitting on a barrel playing a hurdy-gurdy. And at that moment, I step out of the fog. The moon breaks through the clouds, and I turn and look back down the beach, and I can see people walking in pairs, arm in arm, up the beach along the water's edge. And at the far end of that parade, I can now see in the moonlight a figure dressed in all white who seems to be floating above the waves. So I step closer to the fire, and I'm surprised to see that the three figures turn and look at me. They can see me. The one in the middle steps forward and says, "Who the fuck are you?" And I say, "Dave." And he says, "Well, you mind moving on, Dave? You're fucking up my wedding." It seems I had stumbled into a midnight steampunk wedding on the beach. Thank you very much.